Uma salva de palmas à equipa de tradução. Portanto, vamos então dar início a este último painel. Agradecer mais uma vez à gestão do NOSI pelo convite e uma palavra introdutória. Esses 2 dias serviram para alguma discussão de forma aberta, de forma transparente e agora, mais do que nunca, na reta final deste evento, é importante percebermos que é necessário agora convergir esforços e alinhar para ações muito concretas. E a colaboração de cada um e de todos será essencial para que possamos reduzir os ruídos e convergir no essencial. A administração pública quer eficiência, com menor custo, com menor tempo, alinhado com as expectativas do utente, traduzindo resultados. A administração pública quer resultados. A forma como chegamos lá é importante, mas não é essencial. Temos que ter resultados e temos que focar de facto em resultados. Estónia é um exemplo, tem sido um exemplo, líder, tudo que seja questões de governação eletrónica, tudo que seja expectativa do cidadão, eleições a partir de casa, pagamentos de forma cómoda. Portanto, é uma referência e agradecemos. Sinto-me honrado por estar perante 2 entidades de renome internacional. Muito obrigado mais uma vez à organização do NOSI. Vamos dar início apresentando Mr. Linnar Viik, cofundador do eGovernment Academy, cientista de TI com participação em várias palestras de gestão de inovação no Estonian IT College e Tartu University, assessor do governo da Estônia, enfim, uma pessoa com uma larga experiência e foi também importante dizer isso, cofundador e membro do Conselho de Administração da PocoPay, aplicativo de conta corrente, e do Mobi Solution, empresa de serviços móveis e desenvolvimento de software. Portanto, acho que o essencial está dito. Mr. Linnar, please take your place for with us your knowledge.
Now microphone should be on. Ladies and gentlemen, let me thank first for the very kind invitation. It's not my first time to be in Cape Verde. I was here first time 10 years ago, and I have to say that a lot has changed. Many things have changed, but one thing that is still the same is aspiration of the people. And when I have visited many other countries as well, I need to say the biggest difference is not how much money you have to put to the development, but the biggest difference is made by the nations and countries who have a vision and those who don't have a vision. Vision is one of the biggest assets you can have in 21st century to drive your country forward, and it motivates your country and people to work towards that vision. I will be speaking today about the way how private sector can possibly participate in the development of e-government. And this is not just example of Estonia. I want to remind you once again one thing, that digital transformation which we are doing right now, this is not a sprint. This is not a short game taking place in one day. It's a marathon. And for that process, which takes 100 years ago, the revolutions were taking place over the weekend. And then you had a new government, and totally new country and new revolution. Right now also the revolutions take place, the digital revolutions, but they take place in 10 years' time, even sometimes longer. My first question, which I'm trying to address really today, is a question about the strategy of involving the private sector. And I'm very positively surprised how sophisticated, how interesting and how argumented and timely discussion you have had during those 2 days of seminar here. It shows once again that you know what you want and you just try to find the best way to achieve what you want. But if I need to answer, is there a single one strategy for private sector engagement and participation, I need to go back to my childhood and tell you a small story. When I was a very small child, I was spending a summer with my grandparents, and I was out in the yard, and I found grandfather's hammer. And I started to play with a hammer. And when grandfather found me with it, he said one wise thing. Linnar boy, when only tool in your hand is a hammer, then all the problems look like a nail. When I was a small child, I did not understand what he meant. But later on, I understood that for every job, you need to have the best tool. And if you have only one tool, then you can't do all the works and all the jobs. So when Estonia and many other countries are considering how to engage private sector in digital transformation process, there are a number of considerations, and there are different strategies for each of those considerations to be made. First question often raises around what is the role of the state, what is the role of the government, what needs to be critically owned by the state and government, how critical the service is. And this is a place where some countries have chosen to make a totally centralized approach, with government controlling everything, and government even owning infrastructure, owning and developing software, hiring programmers as civil servants, building huge and big organizations, and they leave private sector out, totally out. It's like a different world. Private sector can do their own work, but government is having its agenda. This has never been the case for Estonia. Even in the critical services, such as digital identification, authentication services, we rely a lot on collaboration with the private sector. It gives us not only the best brains, but it gives us also a mutual trust. Trust which can be developed not on the law, on the regulation, on the paper, but trust is gained through the practice, practical activities, and this is so important for both government and the rest of society. So first we consider how critical it is, the service, and should it be owned by government? Even should a school book be written by Ministry of Education? Who should really operate? What is the best way to put the public transportation routes to the place? Is it government, or is it new big data applications that give us a better way to plan the service? The second consideration, which we always have, is related to competencies. I know a number of countries who have said that computers work better when they are programmed by civil servants. This is not true. You need professionals, and if the company is operating, for example, in the field of cybersecurity, it's a similar threats in private sector as in the public sector, and the competencies in that company grow when they have experience with both how to work with their private partners as also with their public sector partners. But competencies are coming together with competition in the open market. So how to boost your private sector? The way how Estonia did it was very simple thinking. We want to make sure that the budget available in public sector for the IT development, and when you look around the world, it's not a small money. Actually, the public spending is around 1/3 of the IT development budget in OECD countries. In some European countries, public sector spending is close to 40% of all IT spending, IT development spending especially. The telecommunication companies, the financial services sector, other sectors, logistic, transport, they only follow. So 1/3 is a lot of money. And if that money goes to the public procurements and to the companies, they can surely have a better financial situation, but also good references and good competence. There is only one small trick. Governments are usually very conservative when they are purchasing from the private sector services. Quite often they want to go out and say, I want to buy something which is proven that it works. But think about in terms of information technology. If you are buying something which works, for example, if you want to have a good border guard IT system, you go to a country where it works. If it works there right now, it means it was developed maybe 5 years ago. It was planned maybe 7 years ago. And it means that within the shortening life cycle of technologies, you are buying an old technology. And that is not also good for the companies you are collaborating with, because with your market power of the government spending, you are putting your companies back in time and they are no longer competitive. So rather, what we try to encourage is we identify a problem and we invite companies openly to discuss and to debate what is the best present and nearby future technological solution that could solve that problem. That means also that the companies will gain an experience of being pioneers. Doing something first gives them opportunity to go to other countries, other markets, and also share what they have done. So only government decision about the private sector involvement can be very supportive to the overall ecosystem you have been talking so much over the last 2 years, also 2 days here in the conference. Innovation is something where you make an idea into reality. It don't have to be entirely new idea. It can be also somebody else's idea. But when you make that idea into reality, you practice something which is called innovation. And innovation, meaning new ideas into reality, is something which all the organizations, private and public organizations, need to practice continuously. Otherwise, they will be stagnating. So continuous innovation means also that public sector is bringing their resources to the innovation marketplace. And private companies can try, test, sometimes fail, but sometimes make a big success. Marketplace for innovation means also that government is opening up, for example, the data. And data can be shared, tested, and made into useful applications. Who owns the public transportation timetable? Is it copyrighted by the government, or is it openly, freely available so everybody can make a better app to find out my best route for my destination? And final considerations, which we often see, are related to changes in the global technology developments. There are totally new platforms. You have been also talking during this conference about Industry 4.0, about totally different workspace we are going to live. Jobs that will disappear and will be replaced with a very new jobs we don't even know well yet. Those all make also changes to the landscape of private-public participation models. In order to make the things even more complex, all those considerations can't be just written down and taken as granted forever. Many of you have been talking also during this event about the concession. Concession is just another agreement. Agreement is made between two parties. If situation changes, the two parties can always come together and discuss about that new situation and find a solution and an agreement. This has been also the case, for example, in Estonia, where quite a number of concession-based agreements, long-term agreements, have been renegotiated because the landscape is totally changing. So I encourage you not to find one single strategy for private sector involvement, but to consider many different things about what needs to be done by government, why it needs to be done by government. Are there competencies available in private sector which are better than in public sector? How to engage those competencies, how to help those private companies to become bigger, how to become more innovative and competitive also outside of your country. IT is a global market space, and if you want to support your private sector, you need to give them tasks which make them globally competitive. The change, as I said, is taking place in front of our eyes. This is the same event, and probably many of you have seen this picture. It's the same place, same event in Vatican, but it's something different there. This is a picture which shows that revolution takes place. And this is irreversible revolution. People will no longer go back and be satisfied with what was in year 2005. They are seeking rather something which is valid and important for them in 2020. There will be continuous technological progress, whatever is a government doing. It's a global progress, and some governments are just capable of adopting faster those new opportunities which are out there. It means also that we are living in growth times. Growth can be taking place over 100 years. It looks like a startup company or some Google or Facebook, but no, this is a production of aluminium over the last 100 years, the most common metal in the grounds of the planet Earth. During the 100 years, there is no more aluminium in the planet Earth core. Only thing which we added during the 100 years is a knowledge. Knowledge, scientific knowledge and practical knowledge how to process aluminium and how to make that into a useful product. And we see that this process looks very similar to what we are witnessing right now, but only on much faster trends. One area which I would like you to consider in addition to what has been debated over this conference is the growth in terms of information which we digitize every day. The growth of the digital information which is available is a new crude oil. It's not yet made into services, products and values, but it's a crude oil you need to process. And exactly as we were 100 years ago with aluminium, we have also right now a gap. 100 years ago, aluminium was there, but it was in a poor form, one of the most precious metals at the time. Right now, there is a lot of information available, but our ability to make that information to work for us, to analyze that, to make that into a meaningful, useful and practical services is still extremely low. When the growth of information available in digital form grows exponentially, then our ability to analyze that information grows only linearly. And we have the gap growing year after year. This is a place where a special attention to the private sector involvement should be made. Whether those private sector companies who analyze and process your data are global players, focusing on very small particular niche areas, or they are your own startups who don't even exist yet but will soon learn something on a very specific field, we will see. But certainly information technology has an impact. And that impact needs to be used for every country. The fact that World Bank, UNDP, European Commission, and broader international development assistance community is embedding once again information technology projects or components to all the foreign investments and assistance programs reflects two things. First of all, the recipient partner governments are aware of how the IT is making potentially a bigger change than any other older infrastructure. And secondly, there is a proof that with the help of information technology, the change which we are aspiring is going to last longer. And to complete my presentation, I will share with you two small examples which are entirely made by private companies, which are based on private public databases, and which have made those companies who developed that into an international new data analytical company players. My first example goes back to 10 years. As you see from the date, this is a New Year's Eve, 31st of December 2007. And the map of the city is city of Tallinn. On the top you see our city harbor. The small green dot reflects the very heart of the old city. Those of you who have been in Tallinn know and can imagine the place, despite one fact: it's covered with snow. And now let's take a look how are Finnish tourists spending the New Year's Eve in Tallinn. And that small animation shows the way how those people who came only for one night, which hotels, where they are having a dinner, how they are spending the time, which helped municipality to build a better tourism information for them and to share with the tourists also information about the services available in different places. And now we have almost a morning, and Finnish tourists went back after spending a New Year to home. This is one example of the roaming network-based mobile phones which were in city of Tallinn. Now a bit broader picture. This is Estonia. And a year later we had a large forest fire in northwest of Estonia. We immediately wanted to know people who are in the danger zone. This is all the mobile phones in the country at that very moment. We zoom into a danger zone and we may ask the question, who are those people? Where are they from? How many of them are foreigners? How many of them are people who are just trespassing that area? How many of them are local people? And we also may ask, what will be the trend? Because we know from the history of data how many people will be there in the next couple of hours and what will be the traffic throughout that area. We can also ask, where are the people who live in that area, to inform them about the fire and about the road stops we have made. And who are those people who live in the danger area, where are they from? So we can inform them and keep them updated, where to go, what to do, and this is an individual approach. Both of those services which are showed are private companies, startup companies, which have been collaborating with telecommunication companies, with the public sector, with the government, and which are right now providing a lot of useful services, not only for governments, but big enterprises, companies around the world. This could not have happened if government had been closing and protecting the information and data. Once again, I would like to conclude my presentation with many thanks to the organizers of this event and congratulate you on extremely timely topic and the very substantive discussion you have here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Viik. Não podia deixar, depois de tantos quilómetros estarmos restritos a 20 minutos, né? Portanto, 6 minutes, no problem. Thank you, Mr. Viik. Agora vamos ter Riho Kurg, gestor de produto da Unify Exchange Platform na empresa cibernética, mestre em Química Analítica pela Universidade de Tartu, sócio fundador da Kurgs & Partners, foi CEO da Zone Media LLC e fornecedora líder de presença na internet, infraestruturas e serviços de apoio na Estónia. Ainda na área da IT foi gestor de operações locais na Lynx Telecom. Enfim, também na mesma linha do Mr. Linnar, Mr. Riho tem uma larga experiência e acho que também estará a partilhar connosco algumas informações bastante pertinentes. Eugênio? Enquanto isso... boa. All set? Okay. Mr. Riho, it's up to you.
Boa tarde, señoras y caballeros. That's about almost all my Portuguese. Yeah. It's in Portuguese. Yes, maybe you should run the presentation.
This is only Portuguese.
Yes, but just...
Podemos aproveitar enquanto a logística está sendo preparada. Faria a ponte com o impacto, pegando a pista um pouco e dando pistas para a discussão posterior. Foi aqui referido o impacto que hoje o papel dos aparelhos móveis... Ok. Os comentários ficam para a seguir. Ok. Mr. Riho, it's up to you.
Yes, hope it works now better. Yes, my name is Riho Kurg and ITalk Technology. The reason I'm so brave to talk about what I feel strong of, what technology is, that during these 2 days I have seen so many engineers on the stage, so many engineers speaking up from the public, and I would also like to thank all the translators who made it possible for me to follow really most of it. So as shown, I'm really mostly from the technology side, and I work for private sector. So I'm another private sector representative here, and I'm doing different things during last 20 years. Started as system administrator, selling software, buying hardware, and doing consulting, things like that. And if my presentation will be too technical, then just feel free to ask other questions, or if it's not technical enough, then be even more free to ask questions. And the company I represent now is actually the company which was my first working place 20 years ago, a company called Cybernetica, founded almost exactly 20 years ago as a private entity. Before that, it was established already 60s as an Institute of Cybernetics. So there are deep roots in the science and there still are. What Cybernetica does, that all kind of mission critical things. It's they say that Cybernetica does things that are interesting, not those things who are paid money for. So, of course, during that we probably make some money too, but the most important and our roots is about doing interesting things, doing new things, doing things that are still not there yet. And as of last year, we have 130 people on board. Half of the revenue is currently from the exports in different countries. For example, this main market last year, yes, it was Indonesia, and it was actually radio surveillance systems. So if any of you in some time steps into Indonesian waters, which is like huge coastline, then probably they will appear on Cybernetica's, on the radars that are provided and operated by Cybernetica. And another strong point we have that about 10% of our employees, the number is actually bigger. I think we have 15 PhDs right now on board, mostly on cybersecurity and cryptography. We have our own scientific institute within the company. But what we do in the software world are also very broad spectrum of different offerings. And each of those offerings would take an hour and a half to talk about, and so I will make it shorter. The ShareMind is, for example, a shared private data analysis platform, which provides means to do statistical analysis over the data without accessing the data actually. It sounds like magic, but this is what scientists do. Next thing is split key authentication and digital signature system. It's also in production already in Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, and it's called Smart ID. As they say, the ID card used to be a cool thing like 20 years ago in Estonia. 10 years ago it was mobile ID, and now it's Smart ID. The Smart ID doesn't need to keep private key anymore on the card or in your mobile phone. There are, again, very clever cryptography methods. Unified Exchange Platform is the product dear to my heart, and I will spend as much time as I can on that afterwards. And also Internet Voting Platform has been used in Estonia for last 12 years, and still being, and we are developing the new version for this year elections as well. As I said, coastal maritime communication, border surveillance, and finally custom software development for the customs, homeland security, things that I can't really talk about. And as I said, we also have research and development. This is about Cybernetica, but why I'm actually here is a product named Unified Exchange Platform. And I think if I had all the brain power to count all the words that was saying there, I guess that the word that was saying the most often is integration. And it's excellent, because most of the topic I would talk about is already mentioned so many times. The main idea behind Unified Exchange Platform is to provide data integration between different organizations to improve transparency and efficiency. because if the data is kept in the silos for the public sector separately, for the private sector or industry separately, then there won't be any additional benefit from that. Yes, everything works in industry, everything kind of works in the private, in the public sector as well. But if we integrate those, then it's possible not only implement some kind of service integration, but it's possible to create new services based on that integration. Why this product was actually built? It started 20 years ago for Estonian government when Estonia was even smaller and much poorer. The main idea is described in the following scenario. Let's see, we have a company that's or organization or a country that does have contained databases, does have business processes around those databases, and everything works within this contained area. But if we take another department, another organizations, even another country, then there will be a need for getting either business processes, databases, registries connected some or other way. If it's only one connection, it's easy. We can build it. We can do it in a secure way. We can find a product from the market to do it. The ITalk was mentioned. And there are several others on the market, and we can do it. But if there are more organizations to connect, and world is changing, the departments and agencies are splitting up, they are joined, things like that, then pretty soon we end up on the picture like that every one of these integration is unique. And by that moment, it's already very difficult to contain that all these integrations are actually made in the safe way. Are they actually protected? Are they actually trusted? Are they actually easily changeable? So those were the main requirements for the Cybernetica 19 years ago to design the integration platform for Estonia. The main goal, or actually those reasons or requirements, they are not unique for any country. They are not unique for any organization. One could argue that, yes, we have all those needs in any organizations. If the system is big and there are systems to be connected, there are many relationships. If the system is dynamic, and any system is dynamic, relationship will have to change. It's mission critical. There are high security requirements, and these security requirements have to be managed in some or other play. And system is decentralized. It means that data is not owned centrally. Every piece of data, every entity has the owner, and the owner is responsible for this data. Another most important thing is that there is no time to spend another 6 months for create a new change in configuration, or launch new services, or integrate services, or create something for common public to use, create a new portal, create something that the private sector can create and develop totally new things. So, but even for all these applications, for a country or any organization big, it's important to keep the data secure. If we talk the main architectural principle of the UXP, or as for short, Unified Exchange Platform, is that there is no single point of failure. Every connection is unique and separated from other. There is no super database. There is no hub. There is no bus. The common mistake that is still appears on the some presentation is that there is a Estonian version is using some kind of bus and everything connected over bus. There is no bus. It's all the structure is distributed. All the communication happens peer-to-peer. And there are all the connection, all these integration are based on the separate policies. And another thing is that to make it more usable, there are rapid service deployment tools, which I will talk later. But before that, I will use Estonia as an example of connected public sector. In Estonia, as I said, the first version of X-Road was developed already in 1999. It's, and those people who developed it are still employed within our company. And it's not about only technology. It's never only about technology, as Linnar said. It's also a lot of organizational policies, a lot of legal framework, but the actual win is that it's backbone for Estonian government. If talking about anything, either e-receipt, e-health, data integration, document management, everything within Estonian government runs over the X-Road. It's been there over 15 years and no downtime. Even if there were some Russian cyber attacks and things like that, they weren't able to touch this backbone because all these connections are separate. And I will touch it later on. There are over 2,000 services, almost 1,000 organizations, and a lot of transactions per year. If I said previously that it's not bus, this is actually Estonian X-Road. How it looks like. Every dot or every bubble is an organization. There are, of course, some of them are separated in the clusters. For example, there is a financial sector cluster. All these really small dots, they are municipalities because they have only one connection. The biggest ones are, of course, population registry, car registry, tax and customs. So this is the graphical display of how the e-government system or e-government integration works in Estonia. And this is actually taken directly from the live system configuration. Just made a bit prettier that bigger, if there are more connections, the dot is bigger and things like that. So seriously, there is no enterprise area bus. And since we are already very close to technology, I will continue on the technology itself. The technical architecture, I don't know how well it shows, is that it lies on for the connection, it relies on the security servers. These are these 4 rectangles in the center. And all the connections between security servers, they are individual connections between those servers only. There are no the only governing components there are is registry and trust services. Registry acts just like a phone book. If I want to call Antonio, then I will check the number from the phone book. But what we talk about, the phone book doesn't know. If I can talk to Antonio at all, it's decided by Antonio. So all these actual transactions are not related to registry. Registry is only technical help. And if there is some kind of issue with let's say, cyber attack or any other critical event, then we can shut down the registry because the system knows the configuration already. Unless there is a change, there is no change, there is no need for registry at all. What also adds to the system is trust services and CA, what was talked today morning. And actually, if the CA is already, or certification authority is already in place in a country, then the same certification authority can be used for the integration, and actually should be used, because it's possible to use the same rules, the same policies, and this is how it is in Estonia as well, that one single root certification authority supports not only ID cards, not only organization, but actually whole Estonian data integration works by the same rules. It means that all the security servers will have their certificates from this central trust organization or central authority. If I already was mentioning not only security server but also governing components, there are biggest of them are 3 of them. USB registry, which is like phone book, trust services, which is certification authority, timestamping, key revocation, things like that. Again, purely technical things. And those governing components are managed by appointed agency. This is a governmental agency. And this is, in Estonia it's called Information Authority, who manages the registry, who is responsible that the information in the registry is correct, who is responsible that all the new security servers installed are using the same rules. And this registry can be installed either in one place, is in supported high availability configuration. It can be installed even in a cloud. How registry works is that it just counts all the organizations and gateways. So the member of the UXP instance is actually the organization. And what registry knows is that where this gateway is in internet, or actually provides this IP address and port number where this gateway lives. But what it also does, it enforces common technical policies. Okay, I can go back. Yes, thank you. Because I probably got it wrong. and another thing is that it provides the information for monitoring. It provides the way to create some data science behind it, not only to draw this picture, what I showed, this fuzzy and friendly picture, but to show how actually traffic is moving, which gateways are overloaded, things like that. And last but not least, the registries can be federated, like it's happening right now between Estonia and Finland. There are 2 separate instances between in Estonia and in Finland. And if these central registries are federated, then due to this federation agreement, every single security gateway or service provider in Finland is available to Estonia as well, technically. How it's actually done, there are of course access lists, rules, and policies again. But technically, you can connect different countries to each other. If there are different instances then they can be federated. This was about governing components. Let's move to the local components. Local component, most important, the thing where it all started is security server. 20 years ago it was, not 20, but 17 years ago it was a separate appliance that was just brought on to the premises, installed and named, this is security server, don't touch it. Because it's because it was something that has to be trusted because government says so. Nowadays, it's just a piece of software that runs on the virtual machine. And this piece of software is actually managed by the data owner, by the organization itself, so that the data ownership and data policies are not set centrally. But every organization, every data owner is responsible for that. And every data owner is only responsible for the integration. What kind of data he needs, what kind of data he provides. And by data, I mean different services. For longer, security server is a single point for every connection, so that service developers, all they need to know is that where this service is located, on which security gateway, so that they don't have to know about other organization databases. There could be different. They don't have to know about other organization application. If the other organization provides a web services, then the same web services are available through trusted channels. And all these the policies are actually forced by the security server. And all kind of security-related processing, crypting the messages, signing messages, auditing messages, timestamping messages, making logs write-only or chaining logs, everything is done within the security server. And given that all these security servers will get their certificates from the Central Certification Authority, it means that every single message running through this integration cloud is actually has the power of digital document. So if a policeman makes a query against my car registration plate to the vehicle registry and then ask my information from the population registry, then these queries are logged, these answers are time-stamped, so everybody can audit who was this public servant, what kind of information he asked, what kind of sensitive information he got from me. For example, I can go and look that, yes, some notary or somebody from police has been asking about my personal information from the population registry. And this is possible only due to the fact that all these records are immutable. What makes it easier for customer, and this is the next stage, which is not available for Estonian government. This is why UXP is a bit above what Estonia use. By the way, the most recent integration platform is currently deployed not in Estonia but in Namibia, and they have better tools to work with. Of course, as Linnar said, tool is not everything. the additions to the security server, one of them is connector, because nowadays programmers, they don't necessarily need to study web services or create rigid structures or use all these web services and SOAP definitions. It's enough if within the organization there is a working database query or several database queries, which then can be accessed from the connector, which is web-based. So it's just about entering the database query to web-based interface, and connector generates the correct service description. What it gives is that the developers are not anymore tied within some rigid framework or within the same database. Even if there is a simple query about, let's say, my information, then this information asked from the service can come from the different databases. And the developers or users, on the other hand, they will never see the databases, they will never see the tables, they will never even know about the platforms. Everything they see is the service definition. And starting, let's say, May this year, it doesn't even be a web service anymore. It can be a REST and JSON service, which makes it much more sense for nowadays developers. I remember in April, when I was talking to developers in Ghana and saying the word web service, then they were just staring at me. What? What web service? What SOAP? Where is REST? Where is service directory? So, and this is a good thing, because it doesn't make sense to create new services based on the technology which is already 20 years old, so that starting the version we released in May this year, it's possible to encapsulate any REST API within the same integration platform. And this is seamlessly available. Basically, if I'm talking in the programmer's language, that the API endpoint is available through this integration layer. And the integration layer only takes care of security. It doesn't care what moves within this API connection. Another thing that makes the other end or information usage easier is portal, so that literally every service which is available over the USB instance is possible to create a web-based repli to this service. It's just, again, matter of defining it over the web interface. So how it literally works, that even a very, let's say, primate level programmer as me, I can create a web service within an hour. A competent developer can create probably 10 of those within an hour. And they can be absolutely right now moved to production. So, and this is actually what we have seen when we have done trainings in the countries, that we create one sample service together, and within 2 days, every student or every trainee is able to generate actually 5 or 6 live services which are actually working. Let's say also something how it works in real life. Everything starts with a pilot or demo phase. It's simply easier that way. It's simply about describing business case, identifying where are these critical data owners or critical points to be, and after that, if there is already technical architecture is developed, this is something that can be done within a day, actually. for let's say, getting like 5 smart people together in a room and discuss, and we have this technical architecture in place already. Of course, getting 5 smart people in the same place, in the same room, it's not often easy, but you see, Antonia has did it like hundreds here. So it might be possible to get 5. And for the pilot phase, all these governance components can be installed in the cloud. Local components can be installed either in cloud or in premises. It doesn't really matter. It only matters technologically, because from the operational point of view, it doesn't matter. And sample services, as I said, using connector and portal, developing them is also quite fast process. And all these first trainings and all these sample services, of course, Cybernetica provides the knowledge transfer, which is very important, which is even more important for the production stage, because Cybernetica doesn't want to operate it. We are providing technology. We are not telling how to do an e-government integration within any country or organization. We can provide technology and how to use it. This is very important to understand that literally what we care is that it works technically, and we want to make our product better, and you or customer are responsible to run the country and run the system. So that's why there must always be a strong local partner who takes care about things like that. And I'm very close to the end. I'm sorry if I'm already out of time, but I will make a quick summary. It's an unified solution for any data exchange, actually. And what makes it important is that it's scalable, it's secure, and it doesn't care about the central system. Everything is distributed. What's important from the policymaker point of view is that traceability and non-repudiation are always in place. And developers don't have to think about security, don't have to think about cryptography, don't have to think about if these methods are reliable over the years, because all the traffic that moves in the network is already protected by UXP. And how it's exactly developed, it's totally up to the customer. For example, if I take the next slide with references, then there is a technology pilot for Ukraine, what we did end of last year, and now just last week I was there in Kiev and kicking the technical pilot off. In Ukraine, you know, they have their own cryptography algorithm. They don't trust RSA. They have their own algorithm. They have their own digital signature format, which is used only in Ukraine, because they assume that this American cryptography is broken by the Russians anyway. So we have our own. And for that, for the Ukrainian government, our engineers will add additional ways to encapsulate any other cryptography, which on the same time provides a possibility that 10 years from now we can use quantum cryptography, post-quantum cryptography for the transfer and key exchanges. We are not dependent on algorithms or argument strengths anymore. What other things we have done is in live, there is a system in Haiti, there is a live system in National Crime Agency in UK, of course, Namibia and Namex, which has been a success story for this spring. And I have very high hopes with the pilot in Ukraine. There are actually 2 pilots I'm planning to get running in Africa this year, but I cannot name the countries. But I'm working on it. And I would really like that, given that Cape Verde is much more agile than any other country I have met in Africa, then I'm almost sure that you guys can make it faster. That's why I didn't put the names here. And the technology pilot for NATO started this year as well. What we plan is that for the next year is that support more cloud or software as a service model. It's so that it's possible to run a security server not only from administrator console, but running just simply point and click over the web and distribute all the configurations, which is very exciting. And everybody asks is that it's distributed blockchain, because for some reason some people in Estonia talk that the Estonian next road is running with blockchain, which is complete fake news. This is not there. I have been trying to explain it for several consultation firms, but we are since we have these scientists in-house, then if we do it properly. We do it with the distributed blockchain, and then all other ways will open, because once we get rid of need for the PKIs or existing CAs, and we can replace all the trust with the blockchain some or other way, then it makes everything much more easier.
How many slides?
And that's more or less all. And we don't have comment. We have a lot of time comments afterwards, and I'm very welcome to ask you to Tallinn. At least we have gate there, Cybernetica gate. So if you come to Tallinn and use gate 7, then Cybernetica is there. Thank you.
Thank you. I have to apologize to Viik that we doubled the time with this last one, so you have more time to talk than in the debate. Okay. So, bem, thank you. It was a very technical presentation, but vamos traduzir em português. Obrigado pelas apresentações. I will talk in Portuguese. It's better. Obrigado pelas apresentações. Iria começar por fazer alguns registros desta última apresentação. No essencial, penso que a Comissão de Proteção de Dados ficaria muito contente se o NOSI assumisse essa solução, né? Iria poupar, iria ter ganhos, Jamilson, se o NOSI adotasse essa solução de integração, né? Estaríamos completamente seguros, né? Tendo em conta os níveis e os protocolos de segurança que aqui foi demonstrado, mas claramente é uma solução que parece bastante robusta, que parece dar confiança, parece que claramente a separação do negócio com o nível de desenvolvimento está garantida. Portanto, em única palavra, confiança, passa confiança. E, não obstante ter sido uma apresentação mais do pendor técnico, mas penso que o essencial desta apresentação mostra um potencial a nível de segurança, a nível de confiança e, acima de tudo, credibilidade, tendo em conta a sua internacionalização em outros países, o que mostra a sua robustez, né? Isto é um aspecto muito importante. Do outro lado, temos uma apresentação mais estratégica, numa perspectiva de alto nível, que também dá pistas muito interessantes do percurso feito por Cabo Verde nesses últimos anos. Um aspecto muito importante aqui referenciado é a capacidade aqui instalada e a vontade de facto de fazer as coisas funcionarem. Há aqui, não obstante alguma diferença em opiniões, mas há aqui uma vontade expressa de recuperar o tempo e fazer Cabo Verde novamente estar na moda de cima em termos de referência, como tem sido ao longo dos anos, né? Precisamos acelerar. Muito obrigado pelas excelentes apresentações. Penso que estaremos a abrir agora o espaço para questões e faremos três perguntas e faremos respostas e assim sucessivamente. Portanto, a palavra está com os participantes. Alguém? O primeiro da lista? Marcos? Força. Já agora, é importante dizer o nome e a área para que o pessoal possa perceber melhor. Okay? E devagar, tendo em conta a tradução. Força.
Don't know if I will speak in English or Portuguese. Huh? Ok, vou falar em português devagar. Qualquer dúvida podem acenar e vou tentar falar em inglês. Num dos slides que mostrou o Riho, Marcos Brito, coordenador no NOSI do departamento Upgrade de aplicações. Tinha uma dúvida no slide do Riho, que tinha um fluxograma e base de dados, e está a dizer que o nosso bistock liga de um ponto a outro. Mas do que mostrou no seu slide é que o XP, o Unified Exchange, é ponto a ponto. Então, portanto, por que disse que num bus há muitas ligações se o Unified Exchange é ponto a ponto também? Portanto, ficou um bocado a dúvida. Qual é a diferença do seu ponto a ponto? Ok, mais seguro, ou é preciso uma autenticação do outro lado, ou autorização, mas é sempre de ponto a ponto. Portanto, ficou um bocado de dúvida. Era essa a minha dúvida.
Okay, thank you for question. The slide I was showing was actually the situation before the UXP, where the connection were between one database to other, one business process to other. Within the UXP, the connections are only happening between organizations, because security gateway will gather all the organization services available in the one point. So does it explain it? Because the slide you were referring is actually the situation before UXP and the need for that to have this unified view. I can scroll back. Technical difficulties. Just this picture where all these rectangles are actually organizations. So if here between these two big rectangles there are two separate connections, two separate integrations, then using UXP there is only one protected connection between those, and these lines are going through the security servers. So this is the explanation. I don't know if it helps.
Temos Arlinda, por favor.
Boa tarde, Arlinda Peixoto, Isoano. A minha questão vai para Linnar. Como é que foi a estratégia da integração ou conexão do setor privado com o governo? Se pode partilhar um pouquinho da experiência da Estónia, como é que se realizou e também se existem áreas, se as áreas estão segmentadas, se existem áreas onde o privado não pode atuar, apenas o governo de Estónia, e como é feita essa relação, como é que é solicitado ao setor privado para cooperar com o governo da Estónia.
It's a manifold approach. Yes, we have an areas where either private sector has a very certain criteria to participate as a vendor, and those are related to defense, security areas. Some of the critical infrastructures are also limited and not available for public tendering for all the companies. You need to just meet the very certain criteria of security, organization, but also willingness to sign the exclusivity contracts with the government. So it's just very certain companies which are dealing with it. But otherwise, the remaining part, starting with culture, education, public transportation, they are all subjects to open tendering, open discussion, and there is another area which is rather important to remember. We have pretty well organized IT sector, not only in software development companies themselves, but separately graphical and user experience design companies or their representatives. We have also, and all those united groups, they are participating not only on the tendering process, but also on the design process. The highest body of Estonian government advisory, which approves before the government all the IT-related strategies, is an Estonia Council. That council has 2/3 of members from private sector. That council is headed by Prime Minister, but 2/3 of the members of the council are representatives of the private sector. And those private sector companies, they necessarily are not just an IT companies in the traditional sense. There is one company which is building robots, parcel robots. One company which is dealing with global currency transactions. Those are not IT companies, but rather different type of startup companies. And they are also involved in the IT strategy discussion process of the country. So it's not only tendering, but it's also designing and participating in the policy preparation. And finally, if there are government bodies which are counseling certain area, for example, Ministry of Culture, the Cultural Heritage Digitalization Committee includes only 2 persons from the government and 12 persons from the private sector and academia. And this is the same case with all the areas. not only Minister of Culture, Minister of Health, Minister of Social Affairs, they all have their IT committees where majority is private sector represented. And it's not to hide things, it's because the private sector has also a very good competence. People are named not because of their position, but because of their competence to those committees. Thank you.
I think she wants... Enquanto isso, mais pessoas que podem assinalar para logo a seguir passarmos. Ok.
Então, neste caso, não tem um órgão único que define as políticas para a sociedade de informação ou as tecnologias de informação. Cada organismo, cada departamento tem o seu e-council que define essas políticas e como é que é, digamos assim, dentro da estratégia do governo, como é que isso é representado globalmente, se cada departamento vai definir a sua política ou vai na linha da estratégia que o governo definiu, ou é bottom-up ou top-down? Como é que é feita a estratégia para a sociedade de informação?
Thank you. The strategies are developed from bottom to up, not from top down. This is the fastest and most simplest answer. There is a kind of top body around the Prime Minister, and Prime Minister has also ICT policy advisor. And the Estonia Council is kind of the highest council, but they will take into their agenda the IT and digital strategies of all the different ministries. And it's very important probably to once again highlight that the strategies are developed from bottom up, not from top down. They are approved on the top, and most important is to understand that we don't actually have an IT strategy in Estonia. But we want to make sure that every strategy, if there is a national health strategy, it includes digital transformation process. And if there is an economic reform strategy, it includes also digital transformation component. So IT is not separately somewhere, but IT needs to be everywhere. And every ministry, every department needs to have their own IT committee and IT budget as well. We don't have one central budget. We have one kind of IT budget for the common infrastructure, but every ministry needs to have their own budget, money, and responsibility. Well, there can't be one place who knows how to make better e-health. It's only a Minister of Health who knows that. And it can't be just one engineering department who knows what is the best for e-education. It's a Minister of Education who has to do it. So this is the approach.
Next one, por favor.
É só uma questão muito rápida e que vem na sequência daquilo que temos estado aqui a falar ultimamente. A Estónia, não sei se sabem, mas foi nomeada pela revista Wire a sociedade digital mais avançada do mundo. E a pergunta é muito concreta. Como é que conseguiram?
Thank you. It's a very good question. And the answer is also very simple. You need to do small things every day. There is not one big thing. Small things every day and include everybody. IT and information society needs to be everybody's agenda every day and learn to enjoy the small wins every day. Small things every day are more important than one big thing.
Muito bem, Armandina. Thank you. It's a very interesting question. Armandina.
Boa tarde. Eu tenho uma questão que é, eu sei que a Estónia tem um princípio que é o principal, one principle only, certo? Que é utilizador, cliente só deve ir num lugar, só deve entregar o documento num lugar. Como é que vocês garantem, como é que é garantido que não haja duplicação de informação e que não haja duplicação de informação? Como é que garantem esse princípio?
Yes, thank you. This is actually a matter, as I told before, it's a matter of owning the information, because the information in population registry is owned by the population registry. And since any agency that needs it can get it from the population registry through Estonian X-Road or UXP, then this principle has been put in place that nobody can ask the information twice, because any organization can get the information over the X-Road from its original source. So that vehicle information is in vehicle database. If municipality needs to know what vehicles I own, they cannot ask it from me because it's present already in vehicle database, and getting this information from there is between municipality and vehicle database. Of course, there are some application for statistical purposes and things like that, but generally every bit of information has the ownership and one single body responsibility. And these data or registry owners are actually have to present these data, make it available over the X-Road or over the UXP. This is part of their data processing agreement.
I can add also one small thing in regards what the future will look like for the registry accuracy certification. It's non-direct evidences. So let me bring one very small example. Who knows that you live in Praia? It's not the registry who knows, but it's an mobile operator who knows that you live in Praia, because if your phone is sleeping every night at Praia, you are also sleeping in Praia. So those are the non-direct evidences which we are currently using as part of the big data analysis to highlight the potential accuracy issues of the different registries, for example, population registry. So if we know that significant part of people are living somewhere else than it's on the population registry, and the local authority dedicated taxes are paid to different municipality, we don't contact those people because this is anonymous data, but we know and we inform the registry that you need to do something. And some municipalities, for example, have started to collect or renew or ask people to re-register really to the municipality if they live there, because also the municipality gets part of the income tax to their local budget based on the data of the population registry. So for the future, and also for the future of Cape Verde, I think we are looking already to non-direct evidences and information for the accuracy analysis of different registries, including also population registry.
Vou aproveitar e fazer uma pergunta. Falou de Big Data e falamos hoje sobre soberania. E também agora falou das provedoras de telecomunicações. A pergunta que eu faço é, hoje as questões de soberania têm que ser reequacionadas, porque ao que parece as provedoras de telecomunicações é que são de facto, é onde está o conhecimento sobre a população, tendo em conta o fluxo que gera em termos de transição de lugares e deslocações e viagens. Uma segunda questão, portanto, a primeira questão é, de facto, a definição de soberania nos dias de hoje, como é que podemos definir a soberania, tendo em conta que os dados, de facto, não cada vez mais estão no setor privado, neste caso o setor das telecomunicações. O segundo elemento tem a ver com o sistema geoespacial. Há dias estava com um colega, ele é maratonista, e ele estava a nadar no largo de uma praia. E eu disse, epá, como é que vais nadar em lugares que tu não conheces? E ele disse-me, temos uma comunidade e partilhamos as áreas onde os maratonistas nadam. Então eu não preciso perguntar a ninguém. Pela informação geoespacial, ele percebe aonde os maratonistas, nesse caso muitas vezes triatletas, nadam, fazem o seu percurso, ou seja, ele faz exatamente a mesma coisa sem perguntar absolutamente nada a ninguém. Basta ter um móvel. Isto para mostrar que estamos, de facto, em outros paradigmas.
I agree very much what you just said. There is a big distinction, and if people are sometimes, they say that we are afraid that government knows too much about me. The government is controlled, audited, and has a more regulation and legal aspects around than any other institution. And Google and Facebook know more about people in Cape Verde than Cape Verde government ever knows. So the only thing we are trying to do really is to use one aspect, the mobile positioning systems, to have a broader and bigger picture for society. And you know what? The same way how people are sharing their data with Facebook or Google, they are doing it because they get back a good service. When government gives back you a better service based on your mobile location, then you are also very happy. This year in Estonia has a lot of forests, and people for some reason in Estonia still don't go to buy the mushrooms from the market or from the store, but they want to go themselves to the forest to pick the berries and take the mushrooms. And you know, they get lost. 100% of those people who were lost in the Estonian forests this year were helped out from the forest with mobile navigation and mobile positioning. And another small example, if there are 40 people all together, or 40 mobile phones are going at a speed of 90 kilometers per hour from Tallinn to Tartu, then you know this is a bus. If that 40 mobile phones stop suddenly outside of the bus stop, you know that the closest traffic police gets in that same millisecond alarmed because there was probably an accident with those people or problem with the bus. And this is better service for society thanks to the mobile positioning system. I don't know who are those people who are in the bus, but there are 40 people and something happened to that bus. And it's a government's responsibility to react and to go and to rescue and help those people who are in that bus.
Mais uma pergunta da plateia. Carlos Santos.
Obrigado. Só uma observação. Não sei se vocês sabem, vocês todos utilizam aqui o Skype, né? Essa tecnologia, de certa forma, foi desenvolvida em Estónia, né? E o nosso amigo Linnar Viik teve alguma participação nesse processo, para terem uma ideia do contributo que Estónia tem dado nesse processo de desenvolvimento das tecnologias de informação. Pena porque venderam a Microsoft isso. Agora, não sei se é pena ou se em termos de retorno também teve um impacto considerável na economia da Estónia. Eu tive a oportunidade de estar em Estónia com Linnar Viik e uma das constatações que eu tive de ver é que é um país muito pequeno, mas também com muita ambição e com muita amor à beza, mas verdadeira amor à beza. E com muita gente capacitada e com vontade de fazer a diferença. E aí constatei que também em Cabo Verde podia ser possível, e é possível. Basta trabalharmos mais em parceria, colaboração e irmos mais adiante com o que é necessário fazer. Agora, há uma coisa que constatei também em Estónia. Assumiram acesso à informação como um direito fundamental. Portanto, eles partiram desse conceito de acesso à informação como um direito constitucional. E o acesso à informação é público. E a questão da segurança vem como consequência. Portanto, esta é uma dimensão muito importante. Porque aqui também há que dinamizar pela publicidade e pela maior participação. E outra coisa muito interessante é que no desenvolvimento das bases de dados, a própria sociedade civil participa na inclusão dos dados e na correção dos dados, que é uma coisa muito interessante em termos de, por exemplo, da identificação, dos dados de registros, de propriedade, portanto, da confrontação. Portanto, há uma participação efetiva e uma colaboração, inclusive, da sociedade civil em todo o processo, para além de uma dinâmica forte do setor privado e público-privado. Portanto, há uma dinâmica também da sociedade civil. Tá.
Obrigado, Carlos. Arlinda, depois o Carlos Espina, depois o Nuno poderá complementar.
Desculpa, mas esse tema para mim é muito entusiasmante. Eu estive também em Estónia no ano passado, de férias. Gostei muito, um país muito bonito. E também o que me marcou muito é a forte cidadania, né? Que o povo de Estónia tem para o seu país. Acho que isso também ajuda muito. Queria duas questões. Como é que fazem para conseguir envolver todos em todo esse processo? Na parte como é que se fazem através da educação, nas escolas, na componente da economia digital, nos e-skills, né? E também a outra questão seria ligada à interoperabilidade. Existem SLAs entre os ministérios para a partilha das informações e também com o setor privado para o público. Como é que é feita essa interoperabilidade? Essas informações, como é que são partilhadas? E se deve existir informações públicas e privadas, como é que são distinguidas e feitas essa interoperabilidade?
Thank you. The inclusion and involvement is always, in every country, extremely difficult. You can only involve people who want. And the answer is also very simple, usually. The more local you get, the more interested people are. The more remote and distant the problem is or the topic is, the more difficult it is to engage people. So engagement in the municipality, village or community level is a key, and digital tools are very simple nowadays. I would say that I'm also living with my family in different small villages. Every village in Estonia has a list, digital list of discussion, and this is not formalized even. Somebody is speaking there about the problems with his son who is not doing well at school. Somebody else is talking about summer festival of our village. Somebody is talking that the new fence needs to be made for one place. Somebody says that my bicycle was stolen. So it's as living as a village itself. And when there is a need to make a decision about something, people also make decisions in those places and in those digital forums or discussion places. But people will get involved and engage only in that case that they feel that when they make an impact. If they are just listening, or if you engage them by asking, come and say what you think about things, and then you say, very good, but now I will go on and do whatever I wanted still to do, they feel betrayed and they feel that they will not come next time. So people are engageable on local community level issues, and secondly, they need to feel that they make a difference and change, and they make an impact. But the second part about private and public data sharing, Riho will respond.
Yes, and I put down the illustration as well. As I said on this picture, there are all these organizations that are connected between each other, and not necessarily all of them, or actually only part of them, are governmental organizations. Because, for example, most of the hospitals are private, but they have to use the e-health system and exchange the information to government, to each other, exchange the information for the insurance. Insurance companies are using the same backbone. And there are also, for example, like peer factories who needs to report back to tax and customs. They are using the same channel, because this channel is like unified access for everybody. And we are actually working on the smart grid for Estonian this utility sector. All these metering systems for the electricity, for gas, soon there will be heating systems as well. All this data is collected through the same secure platform, and then aggregated in the one place and based on this information, the smart decisions are made. So even the smart grid or simple document exchange between local municipalities or villages, it uses the same secure and standard platform, because it doesn't have limits on the size, because all the connections are point to point. Thank you.
Temos mais duas questões, o Carlos Espina e depois o Nuno Coelho.
Boa tarde. Felicitar as duas apresentações, excelentes apresentações. Estónia é claramente um país a seguir, que nos inspira para a economia digital. A apresentação do Viik mais estratégico, do Kurg mais tecnológico, e queria fazer uma pergunta ao Kurg, que é, na apresentação vimos que 10%
a tradução perdeu-se. Está ok? Continua, Carlos, para vermos se continua. Podes continuar para ver se...
Vou devagar. Okay. Queria felicitar as duas apresentações. Agora? Ok. Agora. Não. Ok. Felicitar as duas apresentações. Uma mais estratégica do Viik, que mostra claramente o modelo da economia digital a seguir. E a outra mais tecnológica, que mostra claramente que Estónia tem uma plataforma confiável, segura e escalável, também a seguir, devemos ter em conta. Mas queria colocar uma questão, talvez duas questões ao Kurg. Durante a apresentação, vi que 10% dos colaboradores da Cybernet estão focados na investigação e desenvolvimento. A minha pergunta é, digamos, esse investimento na investigação e desenvolvimento explica o sucesso da plataforma da Estónia? A segunda questão é, alguns países já adotaram a plataforma em várias abordagens, sobretudo a nível de segurança. Vejo também que um país africano, que agora não me recordo o nome, não sei se é Tanzânia, Namíbia, se a Namíbia adotou a plataforma, a parte core, digamos, a parte nuclear da plataforma, e quanto tempo demorou a customização para a realidade do país. Portanto, se é preciso investir na investigação e desenvolvimento para ter uma plataforma desta, ou se é possível neste momento adotar uma plataforma desta e customizá-la para a realidade do país. E uma vez mais agradeço a vossa apresentação.
Yes, okay, I will start from the first question. Yes, undoubtedly, the main reason of the success is that Cybernetica has our roots in science and development. And as I said, it started as a research institute. So 20 years ago, when the research institute was no more needed by the Russians, they had to reinvent themselves and create things that are needed for the government. And it first, when it's established, it was owned by the government, and later on it was basically splitted, so that the science and intellectual part went with the employees, and all these big buildings are left to the government, because Institute had these big buildings. The second part of the question is about was about deployment and yes, for Estonia it has been taken 17 years, and it has been doing through the evolution, and in Estonia there is already, we can say that there is legacy in place. There is still running a 6-year-old person in some places in Estonia, because it simply works and nobody wants to touch the legacy. So for a new country, it's definitely better not to follow all these 15 years of development, research, trial and error. But it's possible to take best current technology and evolve from that. And the question, if I understand correctly, was that how long it took for Namibia. Then yes, eGovernment agency was doing there or at least a year to make general e-governance consulting. Cybernetica was involved another year together with eGovernment Academy, and we did a lot of technical consulting. But this is also something I already mentioned today, that given this audience here and all these people being on the stage, you can easily skip those 2 years because yes, it could be done better, because for, let's say, a simple technical issue, like to put the system highly available, there was need for 2 data centers, but second data center was just being built, and the electricity wasn't there. So it added another 6 months just waiting to connections to arrive to this site. So those are bigger challenges than the challenges related to education and consultation, because generally people working on the field, they are smart. They are smart everywhere. They are smart in Cape Verde. They are smart in Namibia and Estonia. There are only small difference there are in culture and wanting to work together.
Thank you. Temos que fazer a gestão do tempo. Carlos, peço desculpas porque acrescentar. Ok, Carlos, força.
Vou fazer uma pergunta de forma mais direta. Quanto tempo demorava para pôr esta plataforma a funcionar em Cape Verde?
Boa pergunta.
It depends. This is a good question. Do you want it next week or next year? Because no, it's really like that. For a pilot can be put in place within a couple of weeks. But the hardest part is the whole big structural changes in legislation. But you have much of these changes already in place. You have even the things that you have already in place, starting from the certification authority, the plans with the ID cards, things like that. Those things make it much easier. And if I say, don't quote me, but I feel that putting a pilot in place It took 2 months in Ukraine. It took another 6 months for the tender. But again, we are talking about big country as Ukraine. We are talking about hundreds of security servers, hundreds of connections, all these plans and bases. But I don't see any restrictions if we can do a pilot within this year, and we can have a production system in place for the March next year, because the knowledge how to implement, you have the engineers in place, you have the system administration in place, you have the programmers in place, so we can skip much of the work. And most importantly, you have the will to build this digital society, and you have actually moving towards it anyway. So I would say that starting this autumn, we can, if everything is going great and the Christmas will not take longer than one month, then it's probably April or March next year is a probably reasonable target. But don't quote me.
Obrigado. Temos de facto de ver a questão da gestão do tempo. Não sei o Sr. Presidente do NOS e como é que estamos a questão de tempo. Já podemos dar seguimento. Portanto, temos o Nuno, temos o Helder e temos o Francisco, o Songo, o Lamanari. Portanto, Nuno, por favor.
Boa tarde. Fogo em saber a importância dos sistemas de informação geográfica. Acho que cada vez mais está-se a perceber a vantagem desse tipo de plataformas. O problema de saber onde é que as pessoas estão ou não estão, como foi dito, tanto a Google como o Facebook têm acesso a essa informação, por isso é um paradigma que é utopia, não vale a pena estarmos a escamotear isso. A ESRI Portugal teve num projeto com a NATO na Europa, foi o projeto Concorde, em que a Estônia também esteve envolvida, e tem a ver com o saber onde é que se passa determinados incidentes e ter meios de remotos, estamos a falar de drones, tanto a nível naval, a nível aéreo, a nível terrestre, para conseguir ir junto das populações e se fazer os primeiros salvamentos e delimitar se existem problemas para quem lá vai atuar, a nível, por exemplo, de poluição, a nível de nuclear, coisas do género. Por isso, os sistemas de informação geográfica têm que ser validados como um sistema também dentro do ecossistema. E o que eu falei ontem, que às vezes isso não está ainda a ser bem visto ou ainda não está a ser bem interiorizado, hoje foi provado também que efetivamente já se pensa nisso e se usa isso. A questão da localização das pessoas, nós fizemos vários projetos em Portugal com nós, tinha outro nome, tinha a Zona, nós, enfim, e toda a gente dessas instituições sabe onde é que andam todas as populações e onde é que as pessoas andam. Aqui é a mesma coisa. Por isso é uma questão de não vamos escamotear, toda a gente sabe onde é que estão os telemóveis. Por isso, esta interoperabilidade é importante em situações de crise e em situações de risco. Nós temos um programa internacional, sempre que existe situações de catástrofe, como aconteceu aqui no fogo, e não houve aqui por questões que não vale a pena nós termos interagido, a própria ESRI Internacional tem um mecanismo de apoio às populações. Tudo o que tem sido ultimamente desastres de ciclones, de terremotos, de vulcão, a própria ESRI disponibiliza a todos esses países tudo o que é tecnologia e tudo o que é voos de satélite da NASA e da NATO no dia seguinte para poderem trabalhar a nível de operações. Por isso esta partilha que nós falamos e esta interoperabilidade entre sistemas é importante vermos isto num conceito global. E acho que hoje ficou mais uma vez provada que temos meios e temos pessoas que possam querer alavancar isto de outra forma. E acho que Cabo Verde tem meios, tem pessoas, tem mecanismos para conseguirmos trabalhar a um nível global e tratarmos a sociedade de informação em Cabo Verde de uma maneira diferente do que está a ser vista hoje e quebrarmos com estes paradigmas todos de é aquele ou é o outro e andarmos a empurrar de um lado para o outro. Acho que é bom nós juntarmos as mãos, fazer o juntamão e efetivamente mudarmos o paradigma aqui de Cabo Verde. Muitos parabéns pelas apresentações e sistemas de informação geográfica, gostei imenso de os ver aí representados. Obrigado.
Obrigado. Temos o Helder, o Francisco e o Lamanari. Portanto, a gestão do tempo, temos alguma margem? Tentemos ser para podermos fechar. Enquanto o Helder está a preparar, uma pergunta muito concreta que tem a ver com isto é segurança, isso é importante, segurança de informação das nossas costas. Como a solução mobile pode minimizar custos na supervisão e segurança das ilhas de Cabo Verde e a zona de entorno de segurança. Isso é um aspecto que gostaria também que pudessem responder. Mas, Helder, a pergunta está em ti. Força.
Obrigado, Guevara. Obrigado pela oportunidade de aqui estar a participar e ouvir a experiência da Estónia. Fazem cá uma experiência muito interessante. Durante a apresentação, Dr. Linnar focou mais na questão do Estado disponibilizar as suas informações ao privado TIC para desenvolver soluções para o Estado. Mas também temos a outra vertente, o outro lado da moeda, que é o Estado precisar de informações do privado. Como é que tem sido a experiência da Estónia em conseguir que o privado, não só TIC, o privado de várias áreas da economia, também façam uma aposta nas TIC e utilizem as TIC para disponibilizar informações que o Estado necessita desse setor privado. Por exemplo, saber o consumo, o nível de consumo, que produtos são consumidos no país, o que é importado no país, o que é produzido no país. Essas informações são muito importantes para o Estado. De que forma a Estónia tem conseguido, se tem conseguido, também trazer o privado nesta vertente? Obrigado.
Of course, we can discuss about that separately later and longer, but the short answer is we have, as you do also, national statistical offices which gather certain data about the consumption. Also the same is done by central bank. And there is another area where we work very closely, government and private sector. It's about the critical data infrastructure. There are certain companies, banks and telecommunication companies, who need to store in digital format their data and who are obliged to share that data also with the government. Most of the consumption-related data can be aggregated out of those two, if you wish so. And if you add on top of that also the bigger supermarkets and trade and commerce companies, everything which takes place in your country is, of course, observable. The bigger topic, of course, is that more and more people become using the services and purchasing products outside of your country, and I don't know how important is in Cape Verde, for example, AliExpress. We have recognized and felt that there have been seasons and times when almost 10% of all small parcels have been from AliExpress. So it's a big, very different market and very different consumption pattern we don't know nothing about.
Francisco?
Boa tarde. Francisco Horta Nosi, desenvolvedor. Mas eu queria pedir um esclarecimento não na área técnica. Já fiquei convencido que temos segurança dos dados, mas me levantou uma questão sobre a parte do cidadão. Qual foi a política de esclarecimento ou de transmissão de confiança para o cidadão quando tem os seus dados expostos em todo o setor privado e público? Como a Estónia resolveu esse quesito que tanto se falou em todo esse percurso, que é a confiança? Obrigado.
Okay. Do I understand correctly? The question was that how the people know that their information has been accessed. No?
Yes. Sim. A pergunta é como o cidadão sabe que os seus dados são acessados, por quem acessou e para que efeito foi feito.
Okay. This is kind of philosophical questions, but I think it's somewhat related to the people nature in Estonia. We tend to trust technology because when I was, I don't know, in university, at least I was quite young, and there was first TV show and Linnar was actually on TV talking about internet, and for some reason everybody in Estonia started to believe Linnar's charisma, that internet is a good thing, and it was, and another thing that helped a lot was that people saw that actually things are getting better if they provide this information, and there haven't been also data breaches. Why there haven't been? I think one of the reasons was that the government was trusting the security engineers, not only from Cybernetica, but from the other companies. And most of the things were done with security in mind first. And if there haven't been any data breaches or any expose, then trust is something that just grows. Because until recently there was this talk about data breach in Sweden. There has been several breaches in UK. There has been attacks and viruses when I was in Ukraine, that everybody was very excited about the latest virus attack. For some reason, all these breaches have been going like almost unnotified in Estonia. In Estonia, nobody in IT people, they are not excited about some kind of another virus breaching. But I was really surprised that in Kiev, people from different state organizations were very excited. What you did? We had this honeypot, we had another. But if the systems are designed from the ground up in secure way and kept that way, then people have to trust it. Or if we take our e-health or digital receipt system, digital prescription system, then nobody uses a paper prescription in Estonia anymore. He says, just present the ID card that I should have something. My doctor said that he prescribed something to me. And the system simply works and people trust it. Of course, if there was or there will be a data breach, the situation would be much more difficult. But it's just trust simply grows in time. And we have had 25 years to grow this trust, and we have to keep it. Thank you.
Bem, a última inscrição, Lamanari.
Boa tarde. Duas questões para o Sr. Kurg. Deu exemplo de implementações do XP em 4 realidades muito diferentes: Estónia, Ucrânia, Japão e Namíbia. Pedia um apanhado qual é a situação, qual é o status quo, a situação que encontraram no local antes da implementação do XP, o que é que foi possível aproveitar e como é que o contexto encontrado dificultou ou facilitou a implementação do XP. E a segunda questão para o Sr. Viik. Estónia prepara-se para assumir a presidência da União Europeia e vai direcionar a estratégia de governação eletrónica. Se sentem a necessidade de um quadro regulatório para a governação eletrónica e também se sentem a necessidade de standardização da governação eletrónica para que as pessoas sabem exatamente o que é que estão a falar entre elas e também para ajudar o próprio processo de interoperabilidade.
The thing was that translator didn't understand the question, and neither did I.
Okay. Mencionou a implementação do XP em 4 países: Estónia, Ucrânia, Japão e Namíbia.
Okay. It's the implementation in Estonia is totally different from the others. In Estonia, it has been an evolution over 16 years through different versions, different trials and errors, different protocols to replace and evolve. So Estonia is not a typical example, but for the other countries, actually the same X-road technology has been not only in the UXP sense. UXP is in Haiti, in Namibia. It's currently being piloted and implemented in Ukraine, and all these customer cases are different. And of course, Ukrainian model is bigger. In Haiti, it was mostly for the tax and customs. It was this project was done with the help of US aid to help due to some natural disaster recovery. So in Namibia, it's more or less copy-paste from Estonia. In Ukraine, they have their own views how to do it. So these examples are very different. You mentioned Japan. In Japan, it's totally commercial application. It's not related to state at all. It's totally commercial application, but I cannot talk about that. No, really, I can't. So it's and what exactly they and the application I was mentioning in UK, the crime agency. This is not about e-governance. It's about concrete problem that had to be solved. So the applications for this kind of advanced technology are different, and I have to admit that even when I talked to some other African countries, when they learned about technology, they were already having ideas how to use it, which are not yet used in Estonia. So it's actually about treating the technology with creativity and solving your own problems. Not copy Estonia, not copy Ukraine, not copy any other countries, but and actually it was very true story. And I was telling about this experience in this African country to our head of development, who was actually behind the design of original X-Road. And I was telling what they are planning to do. And he said that, oh, yes, it was something that we discussed 20 years ago, but nobody didn't want to do it. So every place is different, and for me, the biggest joy would be if there will be a different approach, a different solution for a different problem in Cape Verde. Because this is how we can evolve with our product as well. Because copying from just taking a stamp that we do e-government this way or we do the other way, this is not really interesting. Let's keep it interesting. Thank you.
Ok. Última. Temos David Gomes.
Obrigado.
Presidente da NAC.
Para parabenizar ambos e agradecer efetivamente trazer esses oradores de fora, sobretudo a Estónia, que tem uma longa experiência, para nós é muito importante. A minha pergunta que eu tenho para o Linnar é que, quer em Portugal, quer em Cabo Verde, nós temos, eu estava a dizer para não copiar, mas nós temos o hábito de copiar ali praticamente a legislação, sobretudo portuguesa, para o domínio jurídico português. O que eu vejo em Portugal, não, por acaso não está o Nuno aqui, saiu, não está lá. E em Portugal, também provocando aqui o pessoal da proteção dos dados pessoais, nós temos uma legislação muito rígida, que no caso de prestação de serviço na base de localização geográfica, no momento atual, é proibido. E as operadoras das comunicações eletrónicas, quer em Portugal, quer aqui, não podem estar a tentar, sabendo daquela informação que recolhem, que aqui também o Helder estava a fazer essa pergunta, tem limitações que queixam, porque estão a dizer, vem o Google, não me interessa, recolhe as informações, a base de informação geográfica, na minha localização, consegue prestar serviços, fazer publicidade, etc, etc. Mas a nossa legislação, e igualmente a portuguesa, bloqueia, faz tempo, nesse sentido, porque há uma proteção forte das informações, portanto, dos dados pessoais, primeiramente a localização, etc, etc. Daí que eu queria perguntar o sucesso da Estónia, como é que conseguiram ali, não é contornar, mas como é que conseguiram acasalar a lei da proteção dos dados pessoais com o sucesso na governação eletrónica? O NOSI já vai ter, e outras instituições vão ter esta limitação, que a nossa legislação de proteção dos dados pessoais é muito rígida. Essa é a minha opinião. Obrigado.
Thank you. It's a very important question, and it comes down to the topic also of what Riho was also earlier mentioning about trust. Government needs to show really that what people have trusted to them as information about them will be well monitored, secured, and will not be out of the fair use of regulations. The short answer to your question is that it's always a balance, as usability and security are always somewhere ending up with a compromise. The data protection and services based on the broader data are also compromised. However, that compromise can be very clearly done and ended up to the better services when, first of all, it's very specific service. For example, food delivery, if you order food from a store and store will deliver it to you, it's a very single activity-based, for example, geolocation-based information. However, the broader storing this type of data and private data storing by private companies is something which is very strongly overseen and requires procedures which are for many private companies right now outside of their reach. And this is why they don't use the customer data storing, but they do it live while the service is provided. The future, however, what we will see in the future is that also geographical data and much more sensitive user data is available and shared via non-government players. And once again, I would never say that my government is a weak brother, because I see big technology companies who are not only owning more data about individual users, but they are also willing to sell it for the fair price on the market to anybody. Those are the bigger problems, and we need to, this is an international community that needs to deal with that, not individual governments, not individual data protection departments in any country. It needs international collaboration to address that problem.
Bem, já estamos a caminhar para o final. Mais uma vez, obrigado pelas excelentes apresentações. Mr. Cook and Viik. Vamos, em jeito, se me permitirem, algumas considerações gerais dos elementos que entendi como que ressaltaram a minha atenção. Seria, começar do último dos itens que eu apontei, seria o desafio entre o quadro legal à luz da disponibilização dos dados, que pode ser pode ser um driver para, de facto, o conhecimento e a proximidade entre a sociedade e o setor governamental. Um outro aspecto aqui referido tem a ver com o desafio de assimilar modelos. A nossa realidade com a realidade da Estónia em muitos aspectos idênticos, mas foi aqui colocado que há sempre o desafio de copiar ou apropriar-se de modelos de sucesso, mas sempre com uma visão global, mas com aplicação local associada aos costumes e aos hábitos, bons hábitos e bons costumes, né? Para que, de facto, possamos agregar valor ao modelo. Um outro aspecto muito importante é a tendência para o aumento das competências, que quer no setor privado, quer no setor público, temos o desafio a nível das universidades para cada vez mais capacitar, porque a tecnologia, naturalmente, o uso da tecnologia é transversal. Um aspecto também muito importante aqui colocado, a nível do modelo, tem a ver com o modelo organizacional que é desconcentrado, portanto, há unidades desconcentradas em cada ministério que têm as suas iniciativas e apropriam-se das suas estratégias, salvaguardando a integração digital. Portanto, é um aspecto extremamente importante. Não é sobre tecnologia, estamos a falar de pessoas, estamos a falar de negócios e, portanto, não podemos sobrepor tecnologia em detrimento de outros interesses. O que vale é focar no cliente, focar no negócio, o domínio do negócio e garantir que sim, haja um modelo tecnológico ou arquitetura tecnológica que permita adequar-se ao interesse sectorial. Um outro aspecto muito importante que foi dito aqui, a questão da cidadania, da morabeza, a questão de localmente haver iniciativas por meios digitais que colocam e discutem a cidade, os problemas da cidade, portanto tem tudo a ver com cidadania, é um aspecto extremamente importante que deve ser valorizado e deve ser patrocinado, digamos assim. Um aspecto muito importante é o potencial dos dados móveis, cada vez mais presente e evidente, que existe, e há um potencial de facto de otimização de custos e também de inteligência, quer seja do setor público, quer seja do setor privado. É um aspecto extremamente importante. E, não menos importante, pesquisa e desenvolvimento. Não conseguiremos acelerar sem investir fortemente na pesquisa e desenvolvimento. E a ultimar a componente bottom-up na componente estratégica. Muitas vezes a estratégia não é apropriada porque quando é feita de cima para baixo não chega lá em baixo. Portanto, então às vezes as estratégias muitas vezes falham por não haver um envolvimento de facto nas camadas, nesse caso como aqui foi dito, o exemplo da Estónia, a estratégia é montada de baixo para cima com uma forte participação e comprometimento entre o setor público e o setor privado e garantindo com o setor privado um comprometimento também a nível político, o tal seguimento do e-council, de ter uma equipa de seguimento, um advisor a nível político, mas com a integração de equipas do privado associadas com o setor público. E um outro aspecto que foi referido aqui, o alicerce parece ser um potencial com soluções de interoperabilidade. Portanto, se conseguirmos criar soluções de interoperabilidade, poderemos acelerar a integração do privado e poderemos acelerar a independência, entre aspas, sectorial, sem perder de vista uma visão holística. Portanto, aqui é importante, mesmo que haja independências sectoriais, não podemos perder a visão holística do processo. Portanto, são aspectos que ressaltaram com a discussão. A mim, cabe mais uma vez agradecer à organização pelo debate, pela discussão, aos apresentadores. Foi uma grande honra partilhar esse espaço e poder contribuir de certa forma convosco para essa discussão. Muito obrigado ao Sr. Presidente e obrigado a todos.
Minhas senhoras e meus senhores, já na reta final deste nosso workshop, convidamos o Sr. Presidente do Conselho de Administração do NOSI, o Sr. António Fernandes, para fazer a síntese do resultado deste encontro e encerramento.
Muito boa tarde a todos. Tivemos durante 2 dias desse workshop um intenso convívio, debate. Eu acho que os objetivos foram plenamente atingidos. Portanto, e isto é só o princípio. Vamos dar continuidade. Vamos manter o site. No site onde tivemos o webcast, vamos manter esse site, vamos colocar todos os vídeos e as apresentações nesse site como repositório deste workshop. Vamos criar uma, posso usar o termo, linha de vida deste workshop. O momento zero vai ser a seguir com as nossas batucadeiras. Eu não sei se já estão prontas. As batucadeiras já estão prontas. Esse vai ser o momento zero da linha de vida do workshop. Nós teremos o prazer de convidar Riho Kurg e Linnar Viik a assistir uma pequena sessão cultural no final deste nosso trabalho. E depois, todas as sessões, todo o nosso trabalho que for feito em consequência das discussões havidas aqui, serão ilustradas e colocadas nesse site e vamos acrescentando cada vez mais ações e atividades nessa linha de vida até o nosso próximo workshop. A ideia deste workshop, de facto, era arquitetura. Era a componente tecnológica. Claro que a componente tecnológica é apenas uma de 3 componentes importantes do eGovernment, que é a componente legal, de enquadramento legal e administrativo. O que é preciso, quais são os serviços que o Estado tem que prestar ao cidadão, quais são os serviços que o Estado está legalmente obrigado a prestar aos cidadãos, o seu enquadramento legal e administrativo, a componente da ferramenta, que foi o foco do nosso trabalho, e uma terceira componente importante, que é a change management, gestão de mudança. Nós tentamos evitar a parte estratégica, administrativa, legal. Não falamos da parte change management, que do nosso ponto de vista é a parte mais importante e mais difícil. Tentamos concentrar este workshop na parte da ferramenta. Por quê? Porque quisemos discutir o estado atual da nossa ferramenta no momento oportuno, em que durante mais de um mês nós temos que reconhecer que não fomos suficientemente eficazes a servir o nosso cidadão. O nosso sistema esteve instável. Portanto, o momento foi oportuno para discutirmos abertamente e descomplexadamente as deficiências, eventuais deficiências que temos. Por quê? Porque queremos melhorar. Queremos servir bem o cidadão cabo-verdiano. O NOSI, durante 19 anos, essa foi a bandeira. Portanto, é importante que nós façamos essa discussão. Apesar de termos instabilidades no sistema, há dados importantes. Por exemplo, no primeiro semestre deste ano, Casa do Cidadão atendeu mais clientes que o primeiro semestre do período homólogo do ano passado. Houve acréscimos de quase 15%. Mesmo com instabilidades no sistema. Quer dizer, estamos a ganhar cada vez mais utilizadores da governação eletrónica, estamos a aumentar os serviços que nós prestamos. Consequentemente, nós temos que rever a componente de ferramenta. Portanto, este workshop foi um momento adequado para virmos cá, descomplexadamente, discutirmos e vermos o que é preciso fazer. Uma discussão sadia, onde ninguém se assumiu aqui como dono da verdade absoluta e etc. Todos estavam aqui tranquilamente, humildemente, a ouvir experiências, contestar, recontestar, dizer a sua opinião. Portanto, é esse o ambiente e é esse o espírito que nós pensamos ter conseguido aqui com este workshop. Dos pontos abordados, tivemos no primeiro dia aspectos importantes da certificação, por exemplo, do IGRP, que é o nosso principal produto de governação eletrónica. Nós sabemos como é que o IGRP nasceu. Nasceu de uma plataforma específica, de um fabricante tecnológico específico. Nós temos que evoluir. Estamos a fazer um trabalho importante. Nós temos uma equipe chamada Hexagon, interna, a desenvolver. Nós temos uma componente de Research and Development dentro do nosso. E estamos a desenvolver e avançar o nosso próprio produto. Isso é algo muito bom. Em Cabo Verde eu penso que é uma inovação. Ainda não vi empresas cabo-verdianas a desenvolver e a investir na inovação do seu próprio produto localmente. O Hexagon tem 6 colaboradores do nosso. Portanto, isso é importante. Expusemos a nossa rede, a rede tecnológica privativa do Estado. Se hoje nós podemos perguntar se é preciso ter uma rede tecnológica privativa, nós temos que analisar um pouco a história passada. Essa rede foi criada pelo Estado porque, no momento, a conflituosidade que existia entre o Estado e a concessionária de serviços de telecomunicações não permitiu que o Estado pudesse usar a rede concessionária para mandar serviços, enviar serviços, a rede de transporte. Então o Estado decidiu criar a sua própria rede. E neste momento é o que temos. Podemos de facto, foi aqui colocada a questão qual a relevância da RTP em detrimento da internet. O X-Road usa a internet como meio de comunicação. Não tem rede privada. É tudo feito na internet. Portanto, essa é uma vantagem adicional, porque, de facto, se tivermos uma garantia de SLA de 99,99% numa rede de transporte, eu acho que ninguém iria criar uma rede privativa. Temos o caso, por exemplo, da Eletra, neste momento, está a criar alguma rede privativa para poder colocar os smart meters. Se houvesse uma rede de transporte a preços adequados e com fiabilidade adequada, não seria necessário a Eletra criar dentro da sua própria estrutura uma mini telecom. O NOSI tem dentro da sua própria estrutura uma mini telecom. Portanto, neste momento, de facto, é bom nós perguntarmos: será que a próxima reformulação do setor de telecomunicações vai permitir um avanço nesse sentido? Portanto, foram aqui questões que foram claramente colocadas. Por outro lado, também fica a questão, não tendo uma rede privativa, será que eu fico refém da internet? Refém de existir ou não essa possibilidade de internet? Qual é a redundância? Pelo menos, que serviços críticos é que deveriam ter uma rede privativa? Portanto, são questões que foram colocadas. Nós não vamos dar respostas, neste momento, a nenhuma dessas questões. São questões que estão aqui para reflexão. O data center, também a relevância do data center. Neste momento em que temos instabilidades do sistema, coloca-se a questão de ter ou não ter servidores descentralizados para fazer o offline. Mas lembramos que o NOS evoluiu de uma situação onde havia servidores descentralizados e que era muito difícil de mantê-los. Quantas instituições nós temos? Quantos servidores descentralizados nós teríamos que ter e manter em bom estado para fazer esse trabalho de offline? O NOS evoluiu de um sistema desses, onde todas as instituições tinham servidores descentralizados, para o sistema que o engenheiro Lamanari chama de fortaleza, que é colocar todos os serviços no data center e disponibilizá-los a partir desse data center a tudo onde tiver conectividade. Né? Falamos aqui também de modelos de parceria para mobilizar o ecossistema público-privado. De facto, é a questão essencial. Neste momento, o NOSI tem sido o principal desenvolvedor de soluções de eGovernment. E tem sido e tem feito bem. Bem. Tem feito isso tão bem que quando falha o sistema, há uma crítica muito forte e imediata sobre a falha do sistema. Porque só falha aquilo que deixa falta. Portanto, o trabalho do NOSI tem sido muito bem feito. Coloca-se a questão de continuar a fazer desta maneira ou evoluir para outros modelos onde o setor privado também pode participar. E tivemos aqui relatos da experiência do setor privado. Mas ouvimos também o nosso comissário, o engenheiro Isaías, a dizer que nosso setor privado é incipiente e, ao mesmo tempo, a propor alternativas de parceria público-privadas com o setor privado. Portanto, temos aqui algumas discussões que foram aqui feitas, carecem de mais discussão ainda, porque apresentam um certo antagonismo entre determinadas posições. Teremos que, de facto, pensar em incubação. Não foi falado aqui, mas é algo que também tem que ser trazida nesse debate. Os startups, incubação startups do setor privado. Nós já lançamos a primeira pedra daquilo que vai ser o ecossistema propício para o desenvolvimento de startups e a incubação de empresas. Mas para que isso aconteça, a nossa plataforma, aquilo que nós queremos fazer, tem que ter a capacidade de permitir a esses startups e a essas empresas incubadas de aceder aos dados. É como dizia o Tim Berners-Lee, que é o fundador da World Wide Web, numa conferência TED Talk. Ele andou no meio do palco e às tantas começou a pedir à plateia para repetir com ele. Raw data now. Ele é célebre por essa frase. Raw data now. Porque o raw data, o dado em bruto, é que vai permitir as startups, é que vai permitir a incubadoras, é que vai permitir a dinamização do setor privado, a libertação das forças do setor privado para o desenvolvimento não só do e-government, do e-business e de toda a economia digital. Então nós temos uma responsabilidade e o momento é agora, como disse a nossa tutela, a mais do que tutela, a nossa supervisão, o Sr. Ministro de Presidência do Conselho de Ministros. O país precisa e o momento é agora. Portanto, nós temos que equacionar essas questões. Sem complexos, sem pressupostos mentais, discutindo firmemente as nossas posições também e aceitando posições contrárias, tentando perceber qual é o argumento das posições contrárias também. E chegando a um consenso rápido e execuível. Porque há uma componente importante que temos que nos obriga a mudar a nossa arquitetura e a nossa plataforma. Essa componente é ciberataques. Nós e os colaboradores do Nós, que aqui estão muitos deles, trabalharam 24 horas por dia seguidos para defender a infraestrutura do Estado. Seguidos. Por 2 sequências de vezes. 2 ataques seguidos. Tivemos colaboradores aqui reunidos a acompanhar diariamente, tanto no data center como em casa, 24 horas sem dormir, a acompanhar a evolução e a defender. A terceira vaga de ciberataques, como é que vai ser? Será mais forte sempre. Portanto, há algo aqui que nós não podemos continuar, de pena de sermos apanhados de surpresa. Há uma responsabilidade que nós temos de migrar e pelo menos discutir uma plataforma mais robusta do ponto de vista de ciberataques. E já que estamos a fazer essa migração, por que não adotar as melhores práticas? Nós vimos aqui, no mundo, não há melhor prática do que o X-Road da Estónia. E o Riho Kurg disse-nos aqui que o X-Road usado na Estónia é legacy. O UXP é melhor ainda do que o X-Road. Namíbia já está a aproveitar dessa experiência. A Namíbia já criou a sua plataforma Nemex. Eventualmente, nós vamos equacionar, depois disso também, internamente, o que é que vamos fazer com esse tipo de... E o Riho Kurg ainda mencionou algo interessante, é que pode haver contribuições de colaboradores aqui que possam evoluir o XP. E o Riho Kurg está disposto a trabalhar connosco nessa matéria. Porque a Estónia? A Estónia não surgiu aqui por acaso, nem de um dia para o outro. Linnar Viik já está a acompanhar o nosso trabalho há mais de 10 anos. Nós tivemos aqui vários consultores do EGA a trabalhar com nós, a aconselhar o nós. Portanto, a Estónia não aparece aqui por acaso. A Estónia já está connosco há bastante tempo. Tem-nos aconselhado há bastante tempo. Neste momento, nós precisamos de aconselhamento. Chamamos quem esteve connosco há muito tempo. Portanto, a Estónia. E nós agradecemos o esforço que fizeram para estar aqui. A participação do privado no eGov, portanto, é algo que vai acontecer. Nós, aqui em Cabo Verde, nós já desenvolveu mais de 80 aplicações. Na Estónia, são mais de 3.800 aplicações, da maior parte desenvolvidas pelo setor privado. 3.800 aplicações de eGov desenvolvidas pelo setor privado na Estónia. Alguns pilares de suporte da integração, nós tivemos a oportunidade de ouvir especialistas aqui do PKI, da identificação e da autenticação, pagamentos eletrónicos. Tivemos a oportunidade de ouvir aqui todo um plano que CISP tem para enfrentar esse desafio. Porque nós achamos que o pagamentos eletrónicos no país está atrasado. Tem que ser rapidamente trazido à frente. E em termos de confiança, poucas entidades têm mais confiança do cabo-verdiano do que a CISP. qualquer cabo-verdiano confia no cartão 24. Por quê? Porque há uma história de confiabilidade no cartão 24 do CISP. O grau de confiança que o cartão 24 tem no cabo-verdiano é um asset, tem valor. Tem valor. Eu acredito que se fosse CISP a lançar o cartão nacional de identificação, se fosse CISP a fazer isso, os cabo-verdianos aderiam logo, pela experiência que têm com o cartão 24. Os cabo-verdianos já aderiam a isso. Não seria preciso criar uma estrutura dentro de um ministério para vir a ANAC certificava a CISP, mas a CISP essa responsabilidade. O grau de credibilidade que a CISP tem com o cartão 24, rapidamente os cabo-verdianos ganhavam com o CN. E mais, CISP já tem toda a infraestrutura montada para emitir cartão, envelope com o código à parte, tudo já está no CISP. Já faz isso. Já faz isso pelo menos para 60% da população. Portanto, é algo que em Cabo Verde às vezes não pensamos, mas temos essas oportunidades à mão de semear. Por que é que não fazemos isso? Está bem? Eu reconheço em mim próprio que o cabo-verdiano, e eu sou o primeiro de todos, somos muito teóricos. Somos muito teóricos. Passamos a vida a teorizar. Meu filho sempre me diz, isso é teoria, papai. Isso é teoria. Vem para a prática e vem jogar comigo aqui o Mario Bros e eu já lhe mostro. Mas eu tenho medo de ir para a prática jogar com ele. E digo, em teoria, o Mario Bros, se fizeres isso e tal. Não, vem jogar. Mas isso é característica de cabo-verdiano e temos que viver com isso também. Parcerias público-privadas. Nós temos que ter um espírito inovador. Parcerias públicas-privadas com empresas do setor privado, que conforme o doutor disse, está incipiente. Temos que arranjar forma de as fazer de modo diferente, usando parcerias público-privadas com empresas incubadas que têm a capacidade tecnológica, mas ainda não têm a capacidade de gestão organizacional, e esse risco possa ser partilhado com o nós. Esse é um papel do nós, a dinamização da sociedade de informação, esse é um papel do nós. Isso é algo que nós não vamos trazer, não, mas se calhar num próximo debate sobre uma outra questão, nós iremos discutir. Há muitas ideias sobre isso, e nós pretendemos avançar rápido. Portanto, e no final nós ouvimos a experiência da Estónia, aqui explicada mais uma vez, e da UXP. Portanto, no fundo, nós não vamos tirar qualquer conclusão. O workshop não foi para isso. O workshop foi para discutir. E nós vamos, dentro da nossa casa, lá no nós, vamos reunir, vamos rediscutir, e lá é que vamos agora sintetizar e tirar as conclusões que forem necessárias. De qualquer forma, vamos partilhá-las nesse site que nós vemos. E assim, nós agradecemos a presença de todos e um obrigado e uma salva de palmas a nós todos. Obrigado.
Minhas senhoras e meus senhores, gostaríamos de convidar a todos para um coquetel que será servido no Bar Panorama do hotel. Votos de um bom fim de semana.